Standing united and not divided. Amen. As long as we're united in Christ. Amen. You know, I look back at a few things in my life and I stop and I think about there's people out here, you know, who maybe, I don't know why we're all here. But what I can tell you is when I was 5 years old, I was hit by a truck. I was thrown into a lake. I was pronounced dead. When I washed ashore, these two men in white come down and they checked me over, you know. One of them said, I think he's got a broken leg. Snapped my leg. Said, it's not broken no more. Then they revived me. I woke up the next day in the hospital. Asked my mother what happened, and she told me, I believe these men were angels. You know, from that point on, I always knew that we were here, that I was here for a reason, for a purpose. And I believe nothing happens on accident. I believe we're all here for a purpose. We're all here right now for a purpose. And we got to be ready. We got to give God our heart daily, every day of our life. You know, you're either going to serve your sin or you're going to serve God. And there for a while, I lost track of that when I was younger. I got off, I started selling pills, started pirating movies, and got away from God, and I kind of wondered, and I started looking back, well, God did these great things in my life. Why isn't he using me? and really what it was is you're a slave to what you serve. I wasn't serving God. I wasn't trusting God. I was trusting in these pills. I was trusting in these DVDs to sell them to support my family. And finally, one day, God used somebody to reach me. Said, hey, if you trust in God, then how come you're doing something illegal to support your family? And I stopped and I thought about it, and I really didn't have an answer for these people. Eventually, I ended up surrendering it, and within 2 weeks, God supplied a place for me to do ministry. It may have been 2 months, but it went quick. It seemed like 2 weeks, you know. He gave me a church to preach in. He gave me a second chance to turn around and start doing his work. And you got to be serious about who you're serving. So, you know, I was praying and wondering where to go. And Romans chapter 6, verse 7 says, because anyone who has died has been set free from sin. But if we died with Christ, we believe that we also live with him. For we know that since Christ was raised from the dead, he cannot die again. Death no longer has majesty over him. The death he died to sin once and for all. But the life he lives to God. And you know, I stop and I look at that and I think, we're supposed to die to the sins that we had in our life. We've been set free. We no longer have to serve in that garbage, in that junk, in that filth. But all too often, we turn around and we go back to that filth and we want to put them shackles back on and we want to drag that sin with us and we want to walk around in that stuff. And you know, we've been given a second chance. We've been set free. If you go back to that stuff, you're not going to shine for the Lord. You're going to be sitting there like I was, wondering why you're not getting used. You got to be right with God. So it says, in the same way, count yourselves dead to sin, but alive to Christ Jesus. Therefore, do not let sin reign in your mortal bodies, so that you obey its evil desires. Do not offer any part of yourself to sin as an instrument of wickedness, but rather offer yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life. Offer every part of yourself to him as an instrument for righteousness. You know, anything you have in this world could take place of God in your life. Anything. Your motorcycle, your car, your phone, Facebook. It don't matter what it is. It can take God's place in your life. So you can either use this stuff, these tools, this stuff that's going to fade away and be garbage for God, or you just need to get rid of it. You know, so we need to make sure that when we're out doing ministry, we're letting God shine in our life. And for anybody that may not know the Lord, you know, it's simple. John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
Glory.
It says, for God did not come into the world to condemn the world. He's not here to kick you or put you down. You know, your past is your past. Once you've come to the Lord, you've been forgiven. That's been thrown into the sea of forgetfulness, never to get brought up again. You know, the only thing that can get in the way of you and God is you choosing not to believe, not to follow. John 3:36 says, if you believe in the Son, you'll be saved. But if you do not believe in the Son, then God's wrath remains upon you. It don't take a bad person to be a sinner. You know, there's a spot in 2 Chronicles where it says it was counted as somebody's sin for not seeking God daily. And I know there ain't a single person here on this earth that has seeked God daily. We all fall short of God's glory. The only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ.
Amen, brother.
Good job.
Thank you so much.